Incoming priceless video. Please stand by.
Priceless channel.
Have you ever heard of the phrase, the police code of silence?
I've heard the phrase. I don't buy into it.
What is it? What does that mean to you?
It means I can't say it exists.
And Buchanan. Let's go.
Tyler Griffin says he pulled into a private driveway on Belmead Drive when he noticed an unmarked car following him in April of this year. He says he didn't realize they were police officers until they told him to get out of the car.
Tell me, what are you doing? Wait a minute, hold on.
Griffin says he heard his ankle break.
Oh, hold on. No, hold on. You do not swipe my hands from me. Do you understand? You got any else in the car?
6 months after it happened, Griffin says he still doesn't understand why the officers used that type of force.
I've never been in any trouble with the police at all, so it's just one of those things where why am I being attacked like this? Because I'm not someone that causes any issues.
Griffin filed a complaint with the department. Atlanta police told 11 Alive their internal affairs unit immediately opened an investigation, and that investigation is still ongoing. But Griffin's attorney, Tanya Miller, thinks it's an open and shut case.
That if you look at that video objectively, that there is no way that you can argue with a straight face that that was an inappropriate use of force. That was, by definition, excessive force.
All right. Good morning, Sergeant Reese. My name is Matt Kahn. I represent the plaintiff, Tyler Griffin.
The original video was 1 hour and 30 minutes, plus an additional video of 3 hours of deposition. For some reason, the content creator has deleted both videos off their YouTube channel, so I can't provide a link. But we still are going to show this department what we're all about by sharing this video on all social media platforms.
Do you personally know either of the defendants, the individual defendants in this case?
I do know them.
Are you friends with either of them?
I actually supervised both of them at one point. So do I know them? Yes. Am I friendly with them? Yes.
Do you have any opinions about Vickers?
I do not.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I don't. I know him as an officer. He worked well for me. I didn't have any problems with him.
You were supervising Vickers. Were there any complaints of excessive force made against Officer Vickers?
I can't think of any. I supervised him for 1 year before I moved to evening watch. And in that 1 year, I don't recall any.
Okay. Have you undergone use of force training?
I have.
Do all police officers with APD undergo use of force training?
Yes.
Objection. Sergeant Reese is here to speak to topics 7 and 8, which are Defendant Vickers' personnel file and Defendant Abat's personnel file. Any questions outside of that scope will be in Sergeant Reese's personal opinion.
Okay. Sergeant Reese, have you instructed other police officers on the use of force?
Same objection.
The answer is
You can answer.
no.
I'm sorry, was that?
I'm not a certified instructor.
Okay. That was my next question. All right. Sir, have you ever reported another police officer for the use of excessive force?
No.
Have you ever testified in an official proceeding that another officer used unreasonable force in the field?
Not that I ever remember.
In your career as a police officer, have you ever seen another officer use what you'd consider to be excessive force?
Years. I can't say that I have.
Can you tell me what is the general purpose of the performance evaluations?
General purpose of a performance evaluation is to give the officer and the department an understanding of where the officer is in regards to what their terminal objectives are for their evaluation.
Okay. Well, doesn't an adverse OPS investigation relate to an officer's performance?
It does.
So then why not include it in the performance evaluation?
It's just not something that's added to a performance evaluation. It's taken into account based upon the knowledge that the supervisor has over that officer. And again, it's the totality of all of their actions for that year. I don't foresee any supervisor saying this officer had all of these complaints, et cetera, and then giving them a highly effective rating. That just doesn't happen. I haven't seen it happen.
Okay. Well, would you agree that a performance evaluation of a police officer who repeatedly breaks rules should reflect that?
I think that would be reasonable that you would see that in their performance evaluation.
But would you agree that in order for a performance evaluation to mean anything, it must include instances in which a police officer breaks the rules?
I think that a performance evaluation should take into account all of the officer's actions and activities, and it should be a fair representation of who that officer is.
Is it fair to say that if a police officer repeatedly breaks the rules but gets positive performance evaluations, the city is condoning the officer's rule breaking?
Objection. But you can answer.
I don't know that that is taking place. I would certainly not want that to be the case.
If that were the case, would you agree that the city is condoning the officer's rule breaking?
Objection, but you can answer.
Yeah, I would say that's not right.
I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. Can you see Plaintiff's Exhibit 33 on your screen?
I do.
And it's a 6-page document, so I can scroll through it if you like. But does Plaintiff's Exhibit 33 appear to be Defendant Vickers' performance evaluation for 2019?
It does.
And have you seen Plaintiff's Exhibit 33 before?
I have. It's in his performance evaluation that in his personnel file that I provided.
All right. So we'll flip to the second page here. Do you see the first goal of APD is CARE, C-A-R-E, and it says represents the department in a courteous and professional manner?
I see that.
And then you see under the goal, there's a comment section, right?
Correct.
Isn't it true that the person performing this evaluation can put anything they want in that comment section?
They can.
For example, if the officer being evaluated was not courteous and not professional, the reviewing employee could say that in the comment section, right?
Correct.
Do you see where it says works with a sense of urgency, treats everyone fairly and with respect?
I do.
And the reviewing officer gave Vickers a 4 here, it looks like. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And we'll go back up to the first page with the key. It looks like a rating of 5 means exceeds, excuse me, that's wrong. A rating of 5 is outstanding, which is basically perfect, correct?
Correct.
And then 4 would be highly effective, which basically means that the officer did a really good job. Is that right?
It does.
So if APD had thought that Vickers was not courteous or professional, it should have said that in this comment section right here, right?
They could have used that space to denote that.
All right, I'm going to go down. Can you see goal 4 on your screen?
I do. It says professionalism.
Okay. And do you see in the comment section that first sentence that says displays concern and empathy when interacting with citizens?
I see that.
And do you think that that's true for Vickers?
I have seen him empathize with people before. He can be very sensitive.
How many times have you seen Mr. Vickers be sensitive?
On several occasions, particularly with children.
Okay. And so in this category for professionalism, the reviewing employee gave Vickers a 4, it looks like, meaning he did a very good job, right?
Yes, sir.
So if during this evaluation period, Vickers had not displayed empathy when interacting with citizens, Sergeant Davis, who I believe did this evaluation, could have put that right here in the comment section, right?
Whoever the rater was could have put that there, yes.
All right. I'm gonna show you a couple videos. All right, can you see the video on your screen?
I can.
All right, so the video I'm about to show you is marked Plaintiff's Exhibit 2.2.
What's wrong with you, man?
My left foot is.
What's wrong with your left foot?
It's tangled or something. I don't know.
It's got what?
A lot of weight on it.
Just a little bit.
A little heavier when it's drunk too.
That's all right, man. Abad went to get him out of the car, and Abad's kind of like, "What are you doing?" And Abad's like, "Put your hand on." He did Abad like that. I did like 50.
Right. Hey man, come on, man, get on up.
Here's his skid marks.
Oh, get up, come on. I help you get up, come on.
We're laughing because you fell pretty hard after pushing an officer, man. I find that funny, man. You don't touch officer, man.
Fun.
You don't touch an officer.
Do that.
Yo, you did do that.
Sergeant Reese, did you hear Officer Vickers bragging about how he did like 50 and tackled Mr. Griffin?
I'm going to object to this entire line of questioning, but if Sergeant Reese answers, it'll be in his personal opinion.
I didn't hear him say he went 50. I mean, I didn't hear that comment. I was looking at the video but I didn't hear him say that. He may have said that.
Well, did you hear Vickers point out the skid marks and then laugh at Mr. Griffin as he sat on the ground?
Same objection.
I did hear him say something about skid marks, and I heard him laughing. Yes, sir.
That's not very professional or courteous, is it?
Same objection.
No, it's not very nice to behave like that at that time.
Did you hear Vickers say, "We're laughing because you fell"? Let's see. Sorry, we're laughing because you fell. Sorry, let me just start the question over. Did you hear Vickers say, "We're laughing because you fell pretty hard after pushing an officer, man"? I find that funny, man.
I heard him say it. I heard him say it.
And that's not very courteous or professional either, is it?
Same objection.
It's not very nice, no.
Do you think anything that you saw in that video is funny?
Same objection.
No.
Does the city of Atlanta allow its police officers to hurt citizens and then laugh at them?
Same objection.
No.
Do you think that Vickers displays concern for citizens in Plaintiff's Exhibit 2.2?
Same objection.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Do you think that Vickers displays concern for citizens in Plaintiff's Exhibit 2.2, which is the video you just watched?
Same objection.
He said he was concerned about his ankle or foot, so he shows some degree of concern, but his behavior is, we would have a discussion.
And what would that discussion be?
The discussion would be about how you talk to people and and how we carry ourselves on a incident scene.
And do you think that Vickers displays empathy in Plaintiff's Exhibit 2.2?
I don't know. I mean, to some degree, sure, he's concerned about the guy's injury. He wants to know what's going on with him. Is he being smart with him? Probably so.
Sure. And earlier you said that, you know, there were a few standard operating procedures whose singular violation could impact a performance evaluation. So I guess my question would be, is that the conduct that you saw in Plaintiff's Exhibit 2.2 is not enough to impact the performance evaluation? Is that right?
I'm saying it could impact his performance evaluation. You would have to ask the rater whether or not he took it into account.
But it appears he clearly didn't. Would you agree?
Objection. But you can answer if you know, Sergeant Reese.
I do not know whether he did or not, but he did not give him a 5. He gave him a 4.
Okay. Do you think that the behavior that you saw in Plaintiff's Exhibit 2.2 deserves a 4, meaning he did a very good job?
I would probably give him between a 3 and a 4.
Sergeant Reese, do you have any kids?
Do?
How would you feel if a police officer treated your kids that way?
Objection.
My question would be, in what way? I didn't see the entire video. You showed me a portion of the video where he is asking him questions. You know, I would want to see the entire video before I made a decision as to, you know, whether I was angry with an officer because of the way they treated my child. I would want somebody to treat my child with dignity regardless.
That's fair. Would you agree that Vickers' 2019 performance review got this part wrong?
Objection.
The highlighted comments that we're looking at.
Objection. You can answer, Sergeant Reese.
Again, I would want to see the totality of all of his work for the year before I, you know, made that decision. And I would hope that his rater took that into account.
Let's look at another video. Can you see the screen, Plaintiff's Exhibit 4.2?
I can.
All right. So I'm just gonna play this whole video for you.
I would never drive on the wrong side of the road either.
Break it up, man. Ain't about that time to play with you, man. Come on.
1, 2, 3, go.
Come on, big boy.
You're not even trying. Come on, man.
Hey, man, don't put your...
You put your weight on the foot that's supposed to be hurt.
Right,
I'm a good guy. I would never do that to you guys.
Bro, I don't even know you.
That's the bad thing. I'm not a good.
Do the bad thing. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll take him on to the Jeep.
Oh my God!
What the gain out of all this,
Oh my
man?
God, it hurts.
What do you
so
expect
bad.
to gain out of this?
Oh my God, please just take the pain away.
Sir, did you hear Vickers say, quote, "You're such a little girl right now," end quote?
I did hear him say it.
Well, do you think that Vickers displays concern for Mr. Griffin in Plaintiff's Exhibit 4.2?
I would say that he shows concern for him and that they didn't keep pushing him, but the way that he was talking to him would be something I would have an issue with if I was his supervisor at the time.
Do you think that Vickers displays empathy for Mr. Griffin in Plaintiff's Exhibit 4.2?
I don't know that he does. It doesn't look like he's showing a lot of empathy at that time.
Oh my God. Oh my God, help me please. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Help me please. Oh. Ooh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Help me.
Did you see Abad making Mr. Griffin walk around on a broken ankle?
I saw Officer Abad walking him. I didn't know if he was making him walk. I saw him walking with him, yes.
Did you hear Mr. Griffin cry out in pain?
I did.
Did you see Abad roll his eyes at Mr. Griffin's crying?
I didn't see him roll his eyes.
Let's take another look at that video. Do you see the eye roll, sir?
I do see him roll his eyes. He had reservations about whether the gentleman was really injured or not.
Well, Abad wasn't being very sympathetic, was he?
I don't know whether he felt like he was being sympathetic or not. It seemed like he felt like the individual was probably playing a game with him. At least that's what the video seemed.
Was he? Would you say that he was being empathetic to Mr. Griffin?
I don't even know how to answer that question because I don't know whether he felt like he was being empathetic or not. Obviously, he didn't make him continue to walk. He should certainly not force him to walk on an ankle if that is in case broken. And I don't know whether it was or not.
So it's your testimony that once, and if I'm mischaracterizing it, please let me know, but is it your testimony that once Abad learned that Mr. Griffin was hurt, he should have stopped making him walk around?
Objection. You can answer, Sergeant Reese.
It's not the policy of the Atlanta Police Department to force somebody to walk when they're injured on an injury. We don't do that.
That's not something that should happen in the United States of America, is it?
Objection. You can answer.
It's not something.
Can you tell me what an empathetic police officer would have done in that situation?
Empathetic police officer would have been able to determine whether or not the individual was telling the truth that they actually have an injury. I've been on many calls where folks profess to be injured and they're not. I think Abad was trying to determine that. At least that's what it looks like in the video. And then an empathetic officer would call for what we refer to as a 4 or Grady in order to come and treat the individual.
And I'm gonna share my screen with you one more time. Can you see Plaintiff's Exhibit 30 on your screen?
I do.
Have you ever seen this X-ray scan before?
I have not.
Would it surprise you to learn that this is an X-ray of Mr. Griffin taken that night?
Am I surprised by it? No, because you're showing it to me, but it looks like he's got a few pins in his ankle. Looks like he probably had a broken ankle.
Would you agree that it'd be pretty messed up to make someone walk around who had that sort of injury?
Yes.
Just Exhibit 5.3.
So when he got to the back here, what was he doing?
Trying to turn around. He got stuck in the gravel. And if he wasn't stuck in the gravel, he would have ran me over because he kept hitting the gas. And I was stuck. I damn near shot him. I was about 2 seconds before bullets in his window.
Based on the limited video that you have seen, it would have been murder for Abad to shoot Mr. Griffin, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would say at this point he should not shoot. He should not have shot him, and he did not.
Will you agree that these performance evaluations are completely meaningless?
No, I would not agree with that.
Well, I mean, these are things that ought to have been considered when doing these performance evaluations, correct?
They would be taken into account when conducting a performance evaluation. But should be considered.
But we haven't looked at anything that would allow the reader to understand that there were poor performances, right?
I would say based upon the fact that the rater did not give him a 5, he realized that there were some areas that needed some work. Every officer is like that, but I don't know whether or not Sergeant Davis took into account that when he issued this performance evaluation.
So, so you can, an Atlanta police officer can march around a citizen with a broken ankle and then still get a 4, which means that he's done a very good job.
Objection, but you can answer, Sergeant Reese.
I think that this incident should be considered in a performance evaluation.
But there was nothing on those performance evaluations that said that these officers need improvement, was there?
Based upon the fact that they did not receive a 5 would indicate that there was room for improvement.
So I'm looking at the key here, the definition of ratings, and it looks like there is a rating that indicates that the officer needs improvement, and that's a 2. And that's the officer meets most, but not all of the expected performance standards. Do you see that?
I do.
And then there's even one more above that that says successful/effective. That's a 3. That says meets the expected performance standards on a regular basis, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if the reviewing officer intended to factor in this misconduct that you've seen and determine that they need improvement, they could have given him a 2, right?
He could have given him a 2.
But he did not give him a 2 in any of those categories, did he?
Did not.
If bad cops get good reviews, isn't it true that those bad cops look like good cops on paper?
Objection. You can answer, Sergeant Reese.
Yes, that is not what we want, and it would give that impression.
Would you agree that if bad cops get good reviews, the department needs to change something about its performance evaluation process?
I would say that if that is the case, then yes, they would need to review that.
Would you agree that if bad cops get good reviews, the department needs to be held accountable?
I would say yes, they do.
Sir, do you think there's a systemic problem with excessive force by the Atlanta police?
My personal opinion is I do not.
All right, I want to show you something. So Plaintiff's Exhibit 502 is an excerpt from the APD Use of Force Advisory Council. Do you see it at the top where it says, but there are lingering issues and opportunities for improvement?
I do.
Isn't that a nice way of saying that there's a problem that needs to be fixed? So you can see it says 8 of those persons who died in police custody were unarmed. Atlanta ranks 4th in unarmed deaths per capita among the same set of 50 states, or 50 cities, U.S. cities, excuse me.
Yes.
Doesn't that necessarily mean that Atlanta has an excessive force problem?
I don't know if that's, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that. It's not something that I have seen while I've been an Atlanta police officer.
Do you see where it says, despite declining arrests over the past 7 years, reported annual use of force incidents have increased on average 2% every year, with 615 total incidents in 2019?
I could see that statement.
Do you find that to be problematic?
I would say our goal is to decrease the number of use of force incidents that we have.
Sergeant Reese, does this image appear to be of your Facebook page?
It does.
I want to ask you a question about a post from your Facebook page. Now, do you see your post that says, when will people learn to take some damn responsibility for their action? Sick and tired of perps blaming the cops. Admit it, your kid's a POS.
I do see that.
Is it also important for police officers to take responsibility for their action?
They should.
And why?
We should all be responsible for each of our actions.
And what happens when police officers don't take responsibility for their actions?
Police officers don't take responsibility?
Yes, sir.
I'm not following. I mean,
What happens when police officers do not take responsibility for their actions?
still not following. If police officers don't take responsibility, then sometimes they get lost in the shuffle.
In this case, Sergeant Reese Vickers hasn't taken, quote, damn responsibility for his actions, as you put it in your Facebook post, has he?
I don't know that my post is in regards to anything that Vickers did.
Sure, but your position is that people should take some damn responsibility for their action, isn't it?
We should all take responsibilities for our actions, whether you're a police officer or a civilian.
And so Vickers, both, you know, he is a police officer and also a human being, a citizen of this state, hasn't taken responsibility for his actions. Do you find that to be problematic?
I don't know whether
Vickers. I'm sorry, let me get the objection out first. And now, if you know, Sergeant Reese, you can answer that question.
And as I was going to say, I don't know whether Vickers has taken any responsibility for his actions regarding this incident. I don't have any knowledge of this incident or Vickers' involvement other than what I've seen in video.
Okay. So back to your Facebook post, sir. When you say POS in your post, does that mean peace?
Would.
Do you have a problem when citizens complain about excessive force?
I don't have a problem when people complain about use of force. I have a problem when people don't take responsibility when they have a role to play, whether it's police officers or civilians.
You agree that citizens have a right to be free of the use of excessive force, don't you?
I do.
Do you agree that there are times when police officers use excessive force?
I do agree with you there.
Do you agree that even if a citizen is accused of committing a crime, they deserve to be treated humanely?
They should.
Do you think that all perps, as you call them, are pieces?
No, they are not.